have started recording, sir. We can proceed now. Thank you.
Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so you most of you, I think all of you know about the what is sensor. Sensor is a device that measures a physical quantity and converts into the signal, which can be read by an observer or by an instrument. So basically, we want to measure some parameter through some device and convert into the useful information, a signal to some useful information. So in this this talk, we are talking mainly about the fiber optic sensors and how it is different from the conventional sensors. What is the optical fiber? You know that optical fiber is a strand of glass. So whatever glass we are using in the say lens and mirrors or any optical instrument, same glass, but we make it into the wire form. We melt glass at very high temperature and throw the wire from that, and that is called the optical fiber. So optical fiber, and when we use the optical fiber, we have to essentially use the light as a signal. Okay, and light is transmitted by continuous internal reflection in optical fibers, right? And fiber optic sensor is a sensing element. In that sensing element will be the optical fiber. And fiber optic sensor can be used for sensing many physical parameters, as I will explain in the coming slide. So if you can see this slide, that how the what is optical fiber? It is a basically very thin glass wire which consists of the core, cladding, and coating. Core and cladding both are made of the silica, the pure glass, and coating is made of some kind of acrylic or plastic. It's a very basic principle how the light transmits through the total internal reflection in the optical fiber. The fiber optic sensors measure the properties of the environment. They can measure anything which changes the way light travels through the fiber or alters the light properties. So basically, when light is traveling through the optical fiber, if anything changes in its property, maybe in the frequency or wavelength or any kind of amplitude, so that can be sensed by the device, which is called a sensor. So I will explain more in detail. So what we can sense with the optical fiber? We can sense temperature, we can sense pressure, we can sense strength, we can sense displacement, acceleration, flow rate, vibrations, chemical concentrations, electrical and magnetic field, rotation rate. All these things can be sensed using the optical fiber sensors. Now, but why the optical fiber? There are sensors available for all these things. There are mechanical sensors available, there are electromechanical sensors are available, there are electrical sensors available. So how optical fiber is different and useful? Okay, so I'll just come to that. So you can see the conventional sensors, strain gauge, embedded strain gauge, displacement transducer, temperature transducers, and pressure transducers. These are the conventional sensors. Okay, and general application of sensor are measurement of the physical properties, monitoring the physical health of structure, damage detection, used in the multifunctional structure. So any environmental effect can be conceived, converted into the optical signal, and interpreted with the optical sensors. But how it is useful than the mechanical or electromechanical sensors? So this is what, if you can see the slide, what are the features? All these parameter can be sensed by the mechanical or electrical sensors or electromechanical sensors, but using the optical fiber will have certain advantage. First is that is very, very sensitive, high sensitive. The sensitivity which we cannot achieve with the any kind of mechanical or electrical sensors that we can get with the optical fiber sensors. It is having large bandwidth. It is having operation. It can operate at very high temperature, pressure or voltage. Very, very high temperature. In the thousands of degree, you can measure distance with the temperature with the optical fiber sensors. Now, the very, very important parameter is a multiplexing, which is very unique thing with the optical fiber sensors. Many sensors you can multiplex together and get the all the sensors can be monitored using the one device. So this is a very unique property. And another unique property is the distribution intent measurement. Means if we have any structure, we can measure at many points. It is not only point sensor, it can be distributed, which I will explain in the coming slides. It can operate at very long range. Fiber optic sensors are very small in size, light in the weight, and great flexibility, allowing access to restricted areas. It is resistant to the chemical, aggressive, and ionizing environments, and it can easily interface with the optical data communication system and secure data transmission. Yes, Jitendra? Jitendra, you have any question?
No, sir.
All right.
Actually, he was not able to hear you. That is the reason he raised the hands.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, actually, that Music Forever and Robin Rajbar, please mute your mic. These two students, please mute your mic. Yeah, Robin Rajbar. Sir, you can go ahead now.
Okay. So very simple block diagram of the optical fiber measurement system. We have light source, and then we have optical fiber. And optical fiber is an active sensing element, and we have photo detector. So if anything happens in this sensing element, that can be detected by photo detector, and then we can interpret that what happened due to temperature or pressure or whatever. Okay, this is a very basic diagram of the typical optical fiber measurement system. If you can see the fiber optic sensor system or optical communication systems, they are very similar. You can see in the upside, it is a fiber optic sensor system block diagram, and below is a block diagram of the communication system. So you see the basic principle is same. We are sending the light, we are receiving the light. In between there is optical fiber. We have detector to receive the light, right? So in the optical communication system, we are sending the signal in the form of some hierarchy. We can use the HDH hierarchy, or we can use the SONET, or we can use the WDM. All these are different protocols we use. Sensor, we are sending a simple light, and see that how this light change in the parameter. It can be in the form of amplitude or frequency or something else. So that will cover in next slides. So if you see the block diagram, both are similar, so communication system or sensor systems. Okay. So now fiber optic sensors are classified in different ways. Based on the sensing site or location, it can be intrinsic or extrinsic. Based on the operating principle, light can be intensity modulated, phase modulated, wavelength modulated, or polarization modulated. Or based on the applications, whether it is for the physical properties or chemical properties or biochemical properties we want to monitor, we can classify. So I will explain all this now. So what is the intrinsic sensor? Intrinsic sensor means sensing takes place within the fiber itself. Okay. In any kind of fiber optic sensor, we are using fiber, but in some of the sensors, sensing happens outside the optical fiber. But in intrinsic sensor, within the fiber itself, there is a sensing happening. Okay. And this sensor rely on the properties of the optical fiber itself to convert an environmental action into the modulation of the light beam passing through it. Okay, so if something changes like temperature or pressure or vibrations, so that will change some property inside the optical fiber, and that can be detected by our system. This is an interesting sensor. In the extrinsic sensor, yeah, if we apply something, okay, this is about intrinsic sensor. In extrinsic sensor, we are using some external device with the optical fiber to monitor the change in the light. Okay. So sensing will take place outside the fiber, not inside the fiber. Okay. Whether you can see the previous slide, sensing will happen inside the fiber itself. In the extrinsic sensor, sensing will happen outside fiber, but we use optical fiber as a carrier of this sensing signal. All right. So there are many ways to achieve this sensing. One is this, where if any changes happen in the temperature, it will change the property of, it will change the fiber will be deformed. Okay, this is just example. Then polarization is also a property of light. So in many sensors, we use this Faraday effect or some kind of polarization mechanism to check the change in polarization and then convert that into the useful information in form of the sensing of one particular parameter. Then there are some phase modulated sensors where we change the phase of the light. So all this I am just giving the very brief of this, that what different kind of sensors are available, and then when we concentrate on the application, we can discuss more on the sensor, that how sensing is happening actually. Then there are some sensors which are based on the interferometry. Interferometry means we are having two types of light, which we divide the incoming light into two portions and then again combine it. So we are basically interfering two lights. Two lights we are combining, and based on this combination, we'll get many interesting parameters. So if you read the interferometry, you know the name of this Michelson interferometer, Mach interferometer, Fabry-Perot interferometer. Okay, so basic mechanism is shown. Like in Michelson interferometer, we combine light through the 2x2 optical coupler. We are sending light, it goes through the coupler, coming back to a detector. In Mach interferometer, we just divide the light and combine again. Right, like that, there are different interferometry techniques which can be interestingly used in sensing. So as I told, there are parameters of the light like frequency, wavelength, polarization. Any of these parameters, if we change and then calibrate it, then we get the sensing. So this is a one of the example where frequency and wavelength can be varied. And most common types is the fiber break dating, where what we do in optical fiber, we by some method we make some high refractive index area and some low refractive index area. So where there is a high refractive index area, we have some different reflection of the light. There is a lower refractive index area, you have different kind of reflection of the light, right? So like that, we can make the periodic dating, and we can use the property of the light. When light goes through that, some particular wavelength will reflect and some particular wavelength will transmit. So by that changing the property of the reflected wavelength, we can measure the many parameters. So whatever I said just now, you can see in this animation. If you can see that we are sending the beam of light and we make the grating. What is the grating? It is a periodic change of the refractive index. It can be achieved using the UV laser. We put UV laser, a strong UV laser at some particular area. The refractive index of the particular area change. After all, fiber is a glass only. So glass, if we put a very high intensity UV laser at some point, that point refractive index will change. And if we make this such a change periodic, then it is called as a grating structure. It is called fiber break grating. And it's a very, very interesting property in sensing. Very, very interesting application in the sensing. Okay. Now what happens if we send the light? You can see in this that we are sending the light with the many wavelength. One particular wavelength or one band of the wavelength will reflect. So you can see the transmitted signal. It is devoid of the one particular wavelength which will be reflected back. And now using this reflected wavelength, if we apply some temperature or some pressure, then this reflected wavelength will change. And with that we can measure, we can calibrate the temperature or pressure vibrations. Okay. Any questions on the things we have covered so far? Please feel free to ask. All right. So yeah. So as I was saying, this fiber break rating is very having very interesting properties in sensing. So depending on the grating frequency, that how far we are putting grating to each other at equal distance, you can see here that we are putting grating at the equal distance. What is a grating? It is a change in the refractive index at this particular points. So we are changing the refractive index at interval of equal interval in the optical fiber. So this is become a grating. So for a given grating period, the particular wavelength will be wavelength of the light is reflected, right? So you can see that we are sending the light in this one particular yellow light is reflecting. If we change this spacing, then reflection of light, the color of the light will change. Means some different frequency will be reflected. Okay. Okay. Fine. So when we apply some temperature or say vibrations or pressure to the optical fiber, this particular frequency, this grating period will change due to deformation because fiber is very sensitive. So when you put some pressure or some temperature, this period will change automatically. This period of the grating, this will change automatically due to this pressure or temperature. And due to if we change this spacing, the wavelength which is reflecting will be different. So we can immediately know that something has happened in nearby to optical fiber. And if we calibrate this thing, we can exactly get the what is the change in the temperature or pressure or vibrations. Okay. So this is a regular grating where we make a grating at the regular interval. Okay. There are some new applications where we make a chirp grating. What is a chirping? Chirping means we don't make a grating at the same interval. This period will be different. You can see that a period of the grating in the figure in the down. That gratings are very near to each other initially, but as we go in the length, the gratings will become far and far. Right? So you can see how this grating works. All right, any questions?
So what is the maximum temperature we can go measure?
We can measure very high temperature. I don't know the exact figure, but I think up to 600, 700 degrees easily because we have seen these applications. I think it can go much beyond that also, but we can say with the confidence that up to 600, 700 degrees it's very much possible.
Possible. Oh yeah.
Actually, up to the glass melting point, glass melts at very high temperature. So up to the melting point, if it doesn't melt, then I think it can sense all the temperature until the melting point of the glass.
And temperature is directly proportional to wavelength.
Yes. Wavelength shift.
Wavelength shift, yeah.
Yeah. So here you see in this figure also we have seen up to the 300 degree. In the minus also means it can measure the very low change in the low means below 0 degree also it can sense. So how commercial system looks like? So this is one commercial system I have taken from one company called SmartScan. You can see how it does. So we have fiber APG sensors written on the optical fiber, and then we have this tunable laser interrogation unit. The sensing unit we say as an interrogation unit. So it keep on sending the wavelength, and then it measure the reflected wavelength. And reflected wavelength, okay, we measure in the optical detector, but we have to see that. So we may make a software and put a screen, and there we can see the reflection. And then we calibrate that thing. So for the layman, they can see directly the temperature or pressure or whatever. They don't have to measure actually this actual shift in the wavelength. Okay, yes, Tejas. Tejas Dhuri, showing that Tejas Dhuri raised the hand.
Yeah, I think maybe by mistake. I don't know.
Okay, okay.
But there is one question here. What
Yes,
are
yes.
geometry parameter like diameter of core, clad, and overall diameter, and type of fibers used for such sensors?
Yeah, good question. So normal optical fiber communication grade fiber comes with the 9 micron of the core diameter and 125 micron is the cladding diameter. Core and cladding both made of the glass. And then we have 125 micron further coating. So total fiber diameter would be 250 micron only. It's a very, very thin, 250 micrometer, means 250 into 10 to minus 6 meter. So you can see it's a very, very light. In this core is only 9 micron and mostly light will travel through the core only. So very, very thin 9 micron, and there are multi-mode fiber with the 50 or 62.5 micron core diameter. But most of the sensing application, I would say that 95% time we use only single mode fiber with the 9 micron core diameter. Okay, and fiber break rating is always written in the single mode fiber, which is having 9 micron core diameter. Okay. Anything else? So actually, I have omitted the basis of the fiber because then it would become much longer. So I wanted to concentrate more on the sensing part. So if time permits, after this, we can discuss about fiber. If anybody is having any questions, I can tell about more about optical fiber as well. All right. Now, fiber optic sensor, there are either a single point sensor, means we have only one sensor and it can measure on the single point. Then we have multi-point. If we make the grating at the many points in the optical fiber cable, then we can sense at the multiple points, which is called the quasi-distributed sensors. Okay. And then we have distributed sensors. In distributed sensor, all the points of the fiber become sensor. How? That I will show in the next slide. But just understand, this is very important, that we have either single point, we have multi-point, and we have distributed. These three types are very, very important. All the sensors of optical fiber are divided into these three parts basically. So single point sensor can measure, that is like a probe. So you can take a probe at one particular point and you can sense at that particular point, right? Multi-point means, suppose we have pipeline, we have gas pipeline or we have oil pipeline, and we want to measure at multiple points, or we have bridge, say bridge, railway bridge, or other bridges. Okay, so what we can do, we can make the fiber break rating at some intervals at different points. Okay, and then all the point at this point we can sense, but we can sense only at that point. Between these 2 points, between these 2 sensors, we cannot measure anything in between. To overcome that, we have made the distributed sensors where all the points, fiber itself has become a sensor. Okay. So this is also possible. This is called the continuous sensing elements. And this is a very interesting application in the gas pipeline, oil pipelines, in the bridges, or any structural health monitoring. Okay. Right. So single point sensors, we have discussed that it is having only single point of sensing. Okay, multi-point, we make the fiber break rating at multiple points and then we can sense at multiple points. And distributed sensing. Okay, distributed sensing, fully distributed sensing, optical fiber, whatever fiber, optical fiber we are using for communications application, we have a lot of that in the India and world now. So same optical fiber can be used as a distributed sensing element. In this, each point will become a sensor. Okay. So basically in distributed sensor, what we do, we send a light through the OTDR kind of instrument. It's called optical time domain reflectometer. So there we have many kind of optical time domain reflectometer, like coherent optical time domain reflectometer or phase optical time domain reflectometer. With this we send the light. And when we send the light through the optical fiber, some portion of light will be always reflected due to the property of the optics. Okay, and that reflected light we change into the usable parameter. So this with this reflected light portion, we can sense the temperature, pressure, vibrations, and all these things. Okay, and for that we require a kind of instrument which is called the OTDR. Okay, phase OTDR, coherent OTDR, or any Rayleigh OTDR? Okay, so I'll just explain this into more detail. So we have three types of the sensor in the distributed sensing. One is called the Rayleigh distributed sensor, Raman distributed sensor, and Brillouin distributed sensors. All these are the name of the scientist. Rayleigh was Rayleigh, Raman, Sir C.V. Raman, and Brillouin. All were the great scientists which discovered the property of the light, refraction in the light, different type of the reflections in the light, and in their name we put this property in their name, like Rayleigh scattering we put in the name of the Lord Rayleigh. Raman scattering, which discovered by Professor C.V. Raman, and he got the Nobel Prize for discovery of that particular effect. So in his honor, it is called as a Raman scattering and Brillouin. So all this I just explain in the next slide. That what are these, one by one. So what is a Rayleigh scattering? What happens in the optical fiber? Optical fiber glass is not a crystalline material. It is a not homogeneous material. Inside, if you see microscopically, there are some high density points, there are some low density points inside the glass. If you see at the microscopic level, okay. So what happens due to this uniformity, non-uniformity in the glass? Some of the portion of the light, when we launch any light signal into the glass, some portion of light will always be back reflected, scattered. It is called the Rayleigh back scattering. Okay. So when we send laser pulse, some portion of the light will always be back scattered and come back, and that we can receive. We can put a coupler here and back reflected light with the help of this circulator. We can receive a detector. Okay. With this, we can measure the length of the optical fiber, loss in the optical fiber. It's a very interesting application, and it's called the OTDR, Optical Time Domain Reflectometer, which will be used by the telecom people very extensively to measure the parameter in the optical fiber, the lead optical fiber. Yes, Sanil? Somebody has a question? Okay. So this is a very interesting property of the light, that some light will always be reflected. Now, if anything happens to the optical fiber, so this property of reflected light means the amount of the reflected light and property of optical reflected light will be changed. So this change we can calibrate to get our temperature or pressure or whatever parameter we want to measure, right? So this is a very simple principle, but the light which is reflecting back, it's a very, very feeble with a very, very low intensity. So we require a very accurate, very high power laser and very high resolution detector to measure this useful light and analyze that. Okay, if we analyze, then we can get the many sensing parameters we can measure. So this is a continuous sensor, because we have not changed anything in the optical fiber. Optical fiber itself has become a sensor, and they can be put in a very, very long length, 30 kilometers, 60 kilometers, 100 kilometers, and so. So instead of putting so many sensors, we just put the optical fiber and get all the properties. So very interesting application. This is about the Rayleigh back scattering. Now, what is a Raman and Brillouin scattering? Okay. So as light goes through the optical fiber, some light will reflect it. That is called due to the structure of the optical fiber, that is called the Rayleigh back scattering. What happens if there is some vibrations? If there is some vibrations near the optical fiber, some portion of the light will get back reflected to the origin. That is called the Brillouin property due to the vibrations, right? And due to change in the temperature, there are some scattering which is called the Raman scattering. So Raman scattering and Brillouin scattering are very, very less in compared to the Rayleigh scattering. Rayleigh scattering is very strong. Okay, but there is a scattering due to the Raman and the Brillouin effect, and that if we can measure, you know, Rayleigh back scatter itself is a very, very feeble, and this is much lesser than the Rayleigh scattering. So it's a very difficult to measure the Raman and Brillouin scattering. But there are research, and now people are able to. There are now people able to measure this property, Raman back scatter and Brillouin back scatter also. So that can have a very interesting application into sensing. Okay. So this three property we use you can see in this diagram, if we send the pulse laser signal, so Rayleigh backscatter is much stronger. We can get the smaller pulse due to Rayleigh backscattering. Then we can get the Brillouin backscatter, and then we have Raman backscatter signal. Okay, Brillouin backscatter signal can be used for the temperature and strength sensing, and Raman backscatter signal can be used for the temperature sensing. Okay.
Hitesh sir,
Yes.
I think there are a few questions from the participants. I'm requesting all of them. You can unmute your mic and you can ask because these PPTs are in a presentation mode.
I did not see in this chat. I thought I was waiting for them to ask. So okay, I can see some question here. So there is one question from the Raghav that how these fibers are protected over 10 kilometers. These are cable foam or something else? Yes, it is a cable foam. We don't put fiber in the bare form. We will always put in the form of the cable. Okay, so it can not only 10 kilometers, it can go up to hundreds of kilometers with the cable. We don't put fiber in the bare form. Okay, this is a question of Raghav. And any other question? Please unmute and ask.
Hello, I'm Gurudat Ullal. Could you explain whether only single mode fibers are used for sensing or multi-mode fibers can also be used?
Multi-mode fiber also can be used, but multi-mode fiber cannot be used for very long range. So in all kind of distributed sensing, we use always single mode fiber. 99% time we use only single mode fiber.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Next.
So one question I wanted to ask. Hi, good morning. This is Raghavendra.
Yes.
How this? I mean, this strain you shown now. This Rayleigh temp sensors and all, they can sense the strain also and temperature also. So in Rayleigh, you are showing some 6 kilometer or 10 kilometer sensors can go to the length. How they will? What will be the working principle to sense the temperature or strain?
Yeah, so working principle is that if you put the optical fiber cable over the long length, and if any temperature or pressure, anything changes at any point, from that point, there is a uniform reflection from all the points of the optical fiber. There are scattering like a Rayleigh backscattering, Brillouin backscattering, and Raman scattering. All this scattering are uniform over all the complete length of the fiber. But whenever there is some property changes, say temperature or leak happens in the some say pipeline, or due to that temperature changes, or some pressure comes on the optical fiber. So from that particular point, the reflections of this scatter signal will be more or less. Means it will be changed from the normal scattering, and that we measure at all the point of time with our sensing device. We measure the scattering at all the points of the optical fiber. So whichever point there is a change in this parameter, we can immediately sense that there is some change at that particular point. This is the principle.
So you said these fibers are in the cable form. That means these fibers are in the coil form. They are protected with some layer of different materials, and the one cable is formed to lay it for 6 kilometer or 10 kilometer. So the fiber is inside the cable. Then suppose after 4 kilometer there is some temperature changing or something. Then how it will change? Sense.
Inside the cable also it is a very sensitive. Optical are very sensitive. Even if it is protected by the cable sheath, it can sense the temperature or whatever changes. It
no,
can
suppose
change.
outside of the cables temperature changes from 40 degree to 70 degree. Then how this 30 degree will be sensed by the this fiber?
So whichever points there are change in the temperature, so it will this change in this temperature will go up to the optical fiber inside the cable through the optical sheath, because we have some sheathing material that also will be heated, and that the temperature will be transferred to the optical fiber eventually. So all the points, suppose there is a 1 kilometer area where all this temperature change happen, so it will be measured not only 1 kilometer, every meter will be measured by our device. It monitors this scattering. So basically device monitors the change in the light properties, but on the screen which user see, they just calibrate this change in the scattering in the form of temperature, and we can see that this temperature changes between this point to this point. So with the optical stitching also, this temperature can transmit inside the optical fiber. It is designed in such a way. This cable is designed in such a way that it gives a mechanical strength, but it will not stop the temperature or pressure to go inside the optical fiber.
Mr. Mehta, I have one more
suppose
question.
Suppose it will not protect the pressure. Pressure will be transferred from cable to fiber. Then what is the protection for fiber then?
No, it is
these fibers are housed in the cable itself just to protect the fiber. So if pressure is transferring and cable is not protecting any pressure to the fiber, outside pressure to the fiber, then what is the protection for fiber then?
It is a mechanical protection. So mechanical protection is strong enough that fiber will not be damaged or fiber will not be broken. But same time, it is sensitive enough to measure the pressure. And when we measure pressure, we want to measure the small change in the pressure. We don't want to measure the very high pressure which can crush the cable. We are not monitoring that. For that, we have different kind of sensor with the high protection. So when we design the cable for some particular application, we design in such a way that cable should not be damaged, but same time pressure can be monitored. So this is a subject of the how we design mechanically the cable. There are specialized cable for that.
So for each application, you have different design of cables, right?
Yes. And the normal cable also can be used for the most of the application. But we have some specific application when there is a very high pressure or like that or very high temperature. That time we have to design cable specifically. Yes. Otherwise, normal application we can use the normal cable.
Mr. Mehta, I have one more question. You said you can use this for gas pipes or oil pipes.
Yes.
If the length is much longer, will the power intensity of the light source also increase in that case?
Yes. If we want to use for the very long length, then laser which we are putting into the power we are putting into the optical fiber, that should be very high powered laser. Normal telecommunication fiber we are using the 0 dBm. 0 dBm means only 1 milliwatt. So 1 milliwatt is good enough for say 30-40 kilometer, right? Okay. But when we use for the sensing application for very long length, maybe we can use the 5 milliwatt or 10 milliwatt or 50 milliwatt laser also.
Okay. So the cost of the power sensor, power light source will also increase in that case.
Yes. Light sources are available up to the many milliwatt, means 1000 milliwatt lasers are also available freely. So that is the problem.
So what I mean to say, sir, is that the cost of the light source will also increase in that case, right?
Definitely. That's why this sensor instrument. So I just give the example, commercial, the real-time example. So GAIL and HPCL, all these people are using these sensors for monitoring of their pipelines. Okay. So the full system for the 40 kilometer pipeline, it costs something around 4 crore rupees.
Okay.
Because due to this high power of the laser and high detection ability of the detector, due to that only.
Okay.
Not due to optical fiber. Optical fibers are much cheaper. So basically, laser cost goes manifold.
Yeah.
So right now cost is like that, but it is now coming down drastically because lasers are also becoming cheaper.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I continue with presentation. Can you see the screen now?
Sir, I am Rampal. I have one or two questions. One is for the gas pipeline, what you have just stated. The fiber used are of special type because when you are sending very high energy or high input, high voltage or high input or optical signal, it requires special type of characteristics. The same type of fibers which are used for single for telecommunication may not be applicable for such type of application. My second question was, fiber used in the fiber optic sensors are of any special type or normal single mode or multi-mode fibers can be used. Third one is, what are the commercial applications of fiber optic sensors, which include the fiber types, the devices, and the hardwares. Then I think one comment was made, the use of fibers for melt temperature is about 1200 to 1400 degree centigrade. So fibers can easily be used for measurement of temperature up to 1000 degrees centigrade or so. fourth point which you just said was the question of Mr. Raghavendra, I think. The fiber used will be in the cable type. The handling of a cable will be quite difficult. Yes, we can put some type of special secondary coating onto the fibers, but can't make it a cable type which is normally used for telecommunication purpose, as your comments place. And the last one was whether you will be able to share your presentation.
Yeah, good afternoon, Rampal Saab. So Rampal Saab is our very old colleague. We worked at many time together. So yes, our presentation will be shared. No problem. I will send this presentation to Mr. Parag, Chairman, and he can share with the participants. Right, Mr. Parag, that is okay.
Yeah, sure, sir. No problem.
And yeah, Rampal Saab, this application part, I am coming to now. I am coming to the application part. I just wanted to tell theory about that. I am not going into much in detail of the theory because many participants may not be aware about the basics of the fiber optics. So I want to concentrate more on the application part. And the comments you made, that is correct, that we can make the good secondary design, special design cable. That's what I told to Mr. Raghu. So yes, thank you for that comment. And you are very much experienced in the optical fiber. I think you can, regarding the optical fiber cable, you know better than me that what kind of optical cable can be used for the particular application. Normal application where temperature doesn't go below 100 degree, normal optical fiber cable is okay. Because in normal temperature, it doesn't go below 50-60 degree anywhere. And in minus side, it is not more than minus 40 or so. So then normal optical fiber cable is good. But yeah, if we require some specific application where temperature goes beyond that, then we require special secondary coating.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So this presentation I will share, and I am just coming to application part. Then we can discuss again if any more things are there. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rampal sir, for answering that thing also. Actually, Rampal sir is our Dronacharya in fiber optics.
That's what I said. Is much senior to us and much experience. Yeah. So can you see my screen now?
Sir, Rampal sir, your mic is muted. Actually, you are saying something, but we can't hear.
Yeah, I have said I am very much humbled, and we learn from each and everybody on any new technology. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Parag, can you? My screen is seen now.
No, sir. Again, you share it. Screen.
Screen. Okay. Now.
Yeah. Now it is visible.
Okay. So I explained already about 3 types of scattering: Rayleigh, Brillouin, and Raman scattering. Okay. So as I was explaining, okay. So like a temperature sensing, especially for the pipeline application, we put this long length of the optical glass fiber. We send light from the laser. And whatever light is coming back, due to whenever there is a change in temperature, there will be backscattered, Raman backscattered, and that light will be detected by detector. So here, only one entry of the fiber. There we put the one device called the circulator. Circulator will allow light only in the one direction. So light is going from the laser, it will be sent to the optical fiber. Whatever light is coming back from the optical fiber, it will not be sent to laser, but it will be redirected to the detector. And then with the change in this backscattered pulse, we can see the change in the temperature. We can calibrate in the form of the temperature change. Okay. And what are the applications of distributed temperature sensing? We can see long pipeline, oil and gas wells, and in this oil fields inside the sea, where changing the temperature is the information in changing the temperature is very much required. Okay. Okay, these are the typical application of distributed temperature sensing. Then same way, as we sense the temperature, we can sense the acoustic, means vibrations also. Vibration in the form of the acoustic. Acoustic wave changes the backscatter, this is the Boolean scattering, and this can be sensed in similar fashion. And here, simple optical fiber, we are not changing anything in the optical fiber, right? Optical fiber itself, we are using a sensing element. So similar, we can sense the pressure and vibrations using the distributed acoustic sensing. And whatever typical application of the acoustic sensing, we can use this for the intrusion detection, right? So if anybody is coming to say this is the fence, or this is the say field, oil field, and there are some boundary wall, and somebody is coming near to that. So due to the ground vibrations, some property will change in the optical fiber, and we can see the alarm that okay, somebody is coming, and we can just take care of that. So for the monitoring of the what is called boundary walls or country borders or the any sensitive structure, we can use the distributed acoustic sensing. And change on the vibration we can sense as a intrusion. Okay, and this is a very, very interesting application. Actually, we made one device using this property and got patented also recently. And this we are using for the monitoring of our country border. So I will tell you the applications where all the optical fiber sensors are being used worldwide commercially. Okay, in India it is very rarely used. Means apart from the gas and oil pipelines, people are not using the optical fiber sensor still. But in all the developed countries, they are using for the monitoring of the civil bridges. Okay, so we put the long length of the optical fiber over the bridge. And each point of the bridge we can monitor continuously. If any changes happen in the say strain of the bridge, yeah, any deformation happens, we can immediately know. So we can continuously monitor 24/7/365. We can monitor the bridge if we put long length of optical fiber across the bridge. So if any problem happens in the bridge, we can get the early warning that okay, for this particular point there is some structure changes are happening. Okay, due to structure changes happening, we can change this change in the strain happens, and we can monitor on our monitor, and we can take go and attend that thing. So if any bridges collapse, so this collapse will not happen suddenly. It happens over the period of time. The strain changes happens, and if we don't monitor, we just know when it collapses. So to prevent that, we can monitor this continuously. And whenever there is a deformation in the structure, we can immediately take care of that. This is a very interesting application. Okay. Classically, we use the electromechanical sensors. Right now, we are using the electromechanical sensors, but electromechanical sensor can only do the point monitoring. Whenever we put the sensor, we can monitor at this point only. We cannot monitor continuously at all the points. To overcome that, we can use the optical fiber. And also electromechanical sensor requires the power. But when you use the optical fiber, we don't require any power in the field. Power is required at the point of laser, right? So this is a very, very interesting thing. So optical fiber cable, once we put, then it can work for the 30-40 years without any problem, minimum 25 years. So we don't have any recurring cost also, right? So this is how we monitor the very, very long bridges. We put very, very long length of the optical fiber, and we don't require any power, right? Power is required only in the control room. Okay, and this whatever things we monitor on the interrogator, this using the GPS we can send to a very remote location also, right? So for example, right now our optical fiber sensor what we developed for intrusion detection, it is put at the Assam-Bangladesh border in the place called Dhubri in the Assam. Okay, but BSF headquarters in Delhi. In sitting in Delhi, they can monitor any movement is happening near the sensors. Okay, so it's a very, very interesting thing. Bridge monitoring again. So see, wherever there is a problem in the bridge, you can see the spike. So you know that particular point at particular meter, there is a change in the structure. There is some change in the light. So we know that there is some deformation, right? This is the Hong Kong's Sigma Breeze, and there they are using the optical fiber as a sensing element, but of course they are using the fiber break rating. Fiber break rating is not fully distributed, it is a quasi-distributed, right? But they are using this, the practical example. Then Singapore Airport, they are using the optical fiber sensors for the structural health monitoring of the roof structure. Okay. Then road pavement monitoring also, many developed countries like US and Europe, they are using this sensor for the road monitoring. Then a very interesting application is in the aircraft. So aircraft, aircraft, these wings. Okay, if we embed the fiber break rating sensor there, so any deformation in the wing, we can easily monitor in the cockpit. So what are the advantage? Optical fibers are very, very less in the weight. Very less in the weight. So aircraft weight is very, very important. 1 gram weight even add into the aircraft, it increase in the fuel cost. So even if you say few grams also, it is very useful in the long run. So one is that. Second, it can measure very accurately, pointed and continuously. And wear and tear is not there, right? For the 25, 30 years you can use without any wear and tear. So for aircraft application, and especially in the rocket application also, now fiber break rating sensors are used extensively. And whenever there is a collapse of the aircraft crash, due to the structure, means due to the failure of the aircraft, it happens normally through some particular structure in the aircraft, from the wing or some small structure. If a small structure fails, it can fail the whole aircraft. So it's very important to monitor the whole structure continuously, right? Now there are some displacement sensors which can be used for the monitoring of the crack development. So see, this is a very, very old church in the Switzerland, right? And they embed some small optical fiber sensor. It looks very big because image is enhanced here, zoomed, but it's very, very small. It's not visible even. So if any crack happens, we know immediately and we can take care of that. Then the smart monitoring of the train systems, high-speed train. So any deformation in the, say, structure of the rail or track, you can monitor 24/7 using the optical fiber sensors. So this is a device, commercially available device, and it can monitor continuously. Railway track also, if you install the sensors, or track monitoring happens very, very easy without any electrical power, right? Then power plants, oil and gas pipelines, I already explained. Then helicopters, right? In propeller blades, bridges, I already explained. Then the sensor can be put in the concrete, it can be embedded. So FBG sensor, if we make any new structure, new building, so we can put inside the wall. So it can work fantastically in that way. You don't have to put on the wall also. You can put inside the wall, and then also it can be used for the monitoring of the many parameters. Also leak detection, it can be used because whenever there is a leak detection happen in the oil and gas pipeline, there is a change in temperature which we can immediately monitor with the optical fiber. Then fiber optic sensor for the intrusion detection, which I explained, with the vibration, because vibration we can sense, and with the vibration we can sense the intrusion. Okay, so it can be used for the any high sensitive areas like country borders or nuclear power plants or airports, right? So intrusion detection system can be used for the underground or over the ground, underwater also, right? So this is a buried system. I am showing the example. If we can bury the system, right? This is a particular system which is monitored by us. So which is developed by us. So we can put the optical fiber cable buried in the ground. So if anybody comes near the ground, near the optical fiber, ground vibration will transfer to the optical fiber, and we can monitor that. So in this block, you can see the device which was developed and manufactured by us, and which are being used for the monitor of the country border. So these are two types of devices which we manufactured. So joint-based devices, and this is put on the, as I told, it is put in the Bold QID project of the BSF. BSF Border Security Force. Our Border Security Force monitors the Pakistan and Bangladesh borders. And this particular system was put in the Bold QID system, which was inaugurated by the then Home Minister Rajnath Singh in the March 2019. And this Bold QID system, our optical fiber system developed by us, is a part of this Bold QID system as a first layer of the sensing. So this is how it monitors on the border. So if any intrusion, this continuously light is sent through the optical fiber is underground, and we can monitor it in our control room. And if any intrusion happens, immediately we get the signal and the point where this intrusion is happening. So somebody can go there and do the remedial action. And this intrusion can be will be shown in the form of the, you can see here, light will be made green, flashlight will be lit, and we can see the alarm. And this alarm will be immediately transferred to on the mobile of the officers. They get the missed call and SMS, and then it will transmit it to the headquarters also. So using a simple system, we can do the multiple monitoring at a multiple places, so the no intrusion will be missed. Okay, these are the photograph of some field trials. I will just skip this. We have done some field trials in the tiger reserves, where poachers are coming and doing this poaching of the tigers. So we have put if you put some camera system and all these things, so they will just destroy that. So we have put the optical fiber cable inside the ground, and we are monitoring the poaching. Whenever somebody is intrusion, whenever somebody comes in that boundary, we'll immediately come to know. These are the photographs of some trial. These are the application of the this intrusion detection system. Yeah, so this is about the applications of the system and the basic principle. So I think I have taken more time, but yeah, I am ready to answer the questions now. And if time permits, then I will show some video of the real sensor systems. Yes, Mr. Kunal.
So, thank you, sir. Any questions? Session is open for questions. I think during the talk, only they ask you questions. So they don't have questions right now.
Okay.
Mr. Mehta, I'm
Yes.
very Gambhir over here.
Yes, sir.
And just to add on, it's a wonderful technology. We have used in our one of the refineries also.
Okay.
Measure the leakages from relief valve systems. As you know, relief valves are basically meant to depressurize in case of high pressure, any pipeline or column. But they are also very much known to be leaking, and we get a lot of losses of gases in between. So,
Okay.
installed acoustic sensors of fiber optics on the outlet of the valves, near the pipe, on the outlet pipe of the valve. So when there is a leakage, even a small leakage, they get a sound, and that is then taken for the shutdown whenever there is opportunity. So
Good.
I believe they reduced a lot of losses due to that.
Definitely. Definitely.
Adding to that.
But you must have imported this type of systems, right?
Yeah, this was done about 7-8 years back, and we were not so much Atmanirbhar.
Yeah. No, still we are not Atmanirbhar. So we
Atmanirbhar,
are
yeah.
company to make this. So we want to become Atmanirbhar in sensor, at least in the fiber optic sensors. So we started with that. So we started with the intrusion detection system. So we are now working on the pressure and temperature as well. So hopefully 6 months, 9 months down the line, we will be having our own Make in India system for this.
Very good, sir. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And there are young engineers here. Almost 50, around 50 young engineers are there. So maybe they will also work in this field. It's
Yeah,
very
this is an
interesting
upcoming
field.
field and a lot of application in the country as big as India. There are hundreds of applications. And we are spending a lot of money in importing this sensor. As I told, one system is coming 3 to 4 crore rupees. So basically, we can make in the fraction of that cost if we make in India.
Yeah.
So Mehta, who makes the test equipment for sensing?
Test equipment for the sensing.
Yeah.
Basically, test equipment are the same as we are using for the normal optical properties like sensing. We have to basically measure the wavelength shift or amplitude shift or power. So all this normal test equipment like power meters or OptiDR or tunable lasers, that are good enough for the testing of the sensing system as well.
No, but is anybody making in India or we have to import?
No. Unfortunately not. That is the irony that we are importing thousands of these equipments every year. For example, OTDR, optical time domain reflectometer, which are being used in the, I think we are importing around 10,000 pieces or more. Rampal sir may be knowing that how much we are importing every year. All are imported.
So we have not yet become Atmanirbhar. You could suggest this to the committees on which you are present. So in due course, somebody in India can start making these.
Definitely, I have made a lot of noise at the government level, but unfortunately, nothing is not happening.
No, but as you said, the applications increase, the usage will also increase. So some local party with imported technology, we can start making it. In due course, we can become Atmanirbhar.
No, I had given the example of OTDR. OTDR is a very, very normal equipment which is being used in the I think every year we are importing 10,000 OTDRs. Okay. And all the cable TV operators, all the telecom operators, all the datacom operators, they are using that. Who are using the optical fiber, they use the OTDR. But despite so much of volume, we are not making it in India. We are importing it. So this is the very classic example where we are using OTDR for last 20 years. And still we don't have Make in India. We have one or two Make in India product now, but I believe that 95% is imported.
So just to give an analogy, you see, initially we set-top boxes for TVs were, imported. Now people have started making in India. Likewise, we can start making OTDRs in India.
Yes, we should, but yeah.
Yeah, and how about cables?
Also, we are Atmanirbhar. We have 15 companies who are making optical fiber cable. We are exporting also in the large quantity. We are also exporting to the Pacific country. We are exporting to Africa. We are exporting to some Latin American countries as well. So we are perfectly Atmanirbhar in the terms of optical fiber cable.
Cables, okay.
So major companies are Sterlite or HFCL and Birla. These all Pinolex, all these people are making in India, large quantity.
Okay.
But we are not making lasers. That is the unfortunate part. Laser we are using in millions, but lasers nobody manufacturing in India so far. So young engineers who are there who want to become entrepreneur, they should think in this direction.
Lasers, what is the power requirement for this type of applications?
Normal power requirement, normal supply, normal whatever we are using for the say simple television or simple equipments.
Okay, and it is laser diode only, no? Means basically.
Yes. Laser diodes only with the varying powers. For the long range application, we have high power. For the normal application, we have low power.
Low power.
Laser diodes only.
Yeah. Okay, I think if there is
Just,
no
if
further,
you give 2 minutes, I just try to show the video of the real equipment which we made, just to give the idea that how they look like. So I just try, if the video plays, 2 minutes.
sure, sir.
Can you see the video now?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the equipment which we make in India, and this is being used at our border area for the security. And we are, we could bring down the cost in the few lakhs rupees, maybe 15-20 lakh rupees or so, because the people were importing, BSF people were importing the equipment in the few crores. So we have given the very economical solution. Listen. You can see the normal power we are using, normal 230 volt power, so we don't require very high power.
This is for intrusion. What?
This is for the intrusion detection. So you can see that we can download a map, and wherever there is intrusion happens, map will tell that where intrusion is happening.
Okay. So what is the accuracy? Pinpoint. It will pinpoint.
Sorry.
It will pinpoint the intrusion.
Yeah, it is. It will
location?
pinpoint the. It will pinpoint in the zone, because it is a zone-based device. So whatever zone we make, it will pinpoint in that zone. Zone may be 100 meter or 200 meter like that. So it will pinpoint in that zone.
Okay. Okay.
You can see this green line will become red when there is a intrusion. It will become red. We see
Okay.
this zone. There is some intrusion happen.
Oh.
So you can record the timing and location and all this thing.
This software kind of thing developed here only?
Yes, sir. So software, hardware, everything is developed here only.
Oh, very nice.
So it will work 24 hours continuously, and we can keep on recording the intrusion with the timings. All right, so yeah, that's it.
So if it is over, then I think I will ask Suvarna ma'am to present vote of thanks.
Yes.
Sure, sure. From my side, yeah, it's over.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hitesh sir, for giving such a valuable inputs to us, because being a student or the young engineers in this group also, they will also create some interest in the field, that they will also think why not to go in optical fiber and make career in that, because this is the one which attract the people. Oh, this is what the applications available for this field. So very much thank you on behalf of everyone. So I would like to thank our speaker for giving such a valuable knowledge to us, and proposing vote of thanks, I would like to thank Mr. Karthik Parikh for providing such a nice platform for us, and Shilpa madam who has helped us in this webinar. I will also would like to thank President of IIT, Dr. J.W. Bakal, and the past President and Pillar of IIT Mumbai Center, Dr. Reddy, for always supporting and giving the continuous support for organizing such activities. Special thanks to all attendees without whom this event is not possible. And last but not least, all the EC members of Mumbai centers and office bearer of IIT Mumbai Center. And I cannot forget my all senior members and fellow of IIT, Rampal sir, Ulal sir and Gambhir sir. Thank you everyone for attending this seminar and making this webinar success. Thank you everyone once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. And many participants are asking this presentation in the chat. I will send to Mr. Parag, and then you can distribute from your side, because this recording will be with you, who are all participants.
Yes, yes, sir. Sure, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And there is a request to the participants. We are providing the feedback link. So please give the feedback on that link so that we can provide the participation certificates to all.
Thank you.
Madam, please share the feedback with me also, so I also know that how people understood or not.
Yes, yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Feedback analysis we will provide you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, Mr. Verma ji.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, you are from where?
I'm from IIIT Allahabad. I'm
nice
a professor here.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything goes to heart respect and honor to Sri M.L. Rampal Sahab, who is the pioneer in this area. He has only inspired me since last 30 years. And yesterday I came to know, so I thought that I will surely attend it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Walingkar, and thank you, Bisay Madam, for your excellent cooperation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then I will request Shilpa ma'am to close the meeting.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.